It's just words, right? Nobody's gonna care. Nobody's even watching. What was that?
The interesting thing is that you didn't delete the message. Nobody forced you to. You stopped yourself. And that raises a more frightening question. Who taught you to be afraid?
Wait, are you saying I'm being censored?
No, I'm asking something more uncomfortable. If nobody takes your voice away, but you choose to not to use it, are you free?
Okay, let's start with the obvious example America. The First Amendment, freedom of speech. I can criticize the government, I can insult politicians. Of course, I can say things people hate, right?
Yes, and that is why America free speech protections are so famous. The government cannot simply punish you because your opinion is unpopular.
So basically, I can say whatever I want.
No.
No?
That sentence is where people misunderstood freedom. Freedom of speech doesn't mean every form of communication has the same legal protection. The question is not, do people dislike your words? The question is, what are those words actually doing? One is a criticism, one is an opinion, and one is a threat. The law treats them differently.
Because the last one could actually hurt someone.
Exactly. The First Amendment protects your right to challenge power, but it doesn't protect a serious threat designed to create fear.
Okay, so America has a line violence. That makes sense.
Yes, but now imagine something. What happens when the line is not drawn around violence? What happens when the question changes from did you threaten someone to did you damage someone's reputation?
Wait a minute. You mean the same sentence could be legal somewhere and dangerous somewhere else?
Exactly. The words do not change. The person does not change. Only the country does. Because the most invisible thing about censorship is that you often don't notice the border until you cross it.
Okay, this is different. If someone is corrupt and you have proof, then exposing them is exactly what citizens should do. Right?
That is what most people believe. Because most people think the legal question is it true? But sometimes that is not the only question.
See? The problem solved. Truth is out. What?
You have been accused of defamation.
No way! That's impossible! Defamation means I lied. I didn't lie. I proved it.
And that reaction is exactly what this issue surprises people. In many legal systems, including the United States, truth is generally a complete defense against defamation. But South Korea approaches the balance differently under its criminal defamation laws. Publicly stating facts that harm someone's reputation can potentially create a criminal liability unless certain legal requirements are met, including considerations such as public interest.
So, even if every word is true, there is still a question.
Yes, not only is it true, but why did you say it?
Why does my reason matter if the information is real?
Because every legal system protects something. The question is, what does it protect first? One person says, you destroyed my life. Another says, I revealed the truth. The law must decide where one person's freedom ends and another person's protection begins.
But that's the scary part. I mean, how do I know where that line is?
You don't always know. And uncertainty changes human behavior.
So people start thinking, maybe I shouldn't post this.
Exactly, and that is called the chilling effect. The law does not need to punish every voice. It only needs to make enough people wonder, could this cost me something? Fear is efficient because punishments happen after you speak. Fear happens before.
So the most powerful moment isn't when someone takes your words away. Interesting.
Correct. It is the moment before, when the words are still yours, but your hand stops moving.
But at least people can still communicate. I mean, they can find others who think like them. They can organize.
Can they?
What do you mean?
Because there is something more powerful than stopping a message. Stopping people from knowing whether anyone else is listening. And that is where censorship enters the most dangerous form. Not inside the courtroom, not inside the law, but inside the information itself.
The internet is disappearing.
Not exactly. Something more subtle is happening. Because controlling information does not always mean deleting information. Sometimes it means controlling whether information can reach you at all.
So basically, they block websites?
Sometimes they can restrict platforms, limit access, slow connections, control digital spaces. The result is not always a complete blackout. Sometimes it's something more difficult to notice.
But people can still use VPNs. I mean, they can still find ways around it.
Sometimes they can, but ask yourself different question. What happens when people stop knowing what is happening and stop knowing who else knows?
I would think maybe nobody else feels this way.
Exactly. And that thought is powerful. Psychologists call this pluralistic ignorance.
Meaning?
People can privately believe one thing while believing everyone else believes the opposite. Everyone is waiting for someone else to speak first. Nobody does. So everyone assume I must be alone.
Oh my goodness. So the silence itself becomes evidence, even when it isn't true.
Exactly. The absence of voices becomes mistaken for agreement. Look at the pattern. America. The question is, did your words cross into direct harm? South Korea. The question becomes, how do we balance expression and reputation? In Iran, the question becomes, who controls the information environment itself? Different systems, different methods, but they all interact with the same human weakness.
Yeah, which is fear?
Yes, because the most effective form of censorship is not always forcing someone to be silent. It is creating a world where they silence themselves.
Then why I can't press it? It's not because it's illegal. It's because I don't know what happens next.
Exactly. The law tells you what you cannot say. Society tells you what you should not say. And fear tells you what you dare not say. So the question is not only what you are allowed to say. The deeper question is, what have you already decided not to say? The interesting thing is that you didn't delete the message. Nobody forced you to. You stopped yourself.